It's no secret that the NBA is a league chock full of intense rivalries. Some beefs eventually end up getting squashed, while others are just not that simple. Kinda like the video I made not too long ago about Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley, which displayed why they will probably never make up. And those are the kind of rivalries we're gonna focus on today. Here are 3 NBA beefs that most likely will never be resolved. Enjoy the video. We're gonna start off with one that's not your typical beef. And I say that because it doesn't necessarily involve 2 individual players. It's between one player and a whole freaking franchise. When Raymond Felton became a member of the Portland Trail Blazers in the summer of 2011, he was already kinda at a disadvantage in the eyes of the fans, because it took trading fan favorite Andre Miller to get him, which had some fans disappointed in that decision. So the feeling around there was, he better perform if they had to get rid of their guy for him. And let me tell you, he didn't exactly make the greatest first impression. Felton just so happened to get traded to the Blazers right before the 2011-2012 lockout season. And due to the start of the season getting delayed, training camp didn't begin until mid-December, causing Raymond Felton to show up noticeably overweight and out of shape. It was said that he had a horrible attitude and didn't seem motivated at all, which was the last thing Blazers fans wanted to hear. Felton's one and only year as a Trailblazer was a frustrating one to say the least. He didn't exactly have his best season, to put it mildly. Okay, let's just call it how it was. He was terrible. A turnover machine and constantly bricking shots. Now, it wasn't just his play on the court that made his time in Portland ugly. He once threatened to fight a fan, literally telling him when and where to meet up. He later admitted that he did cross the line by challenging a fan to a fight, but he claims that the person said something negative about his mother on social media, and that's what made him snap. So of course, once that year in Portland was up, there was no question that it was time to move on. He was traded to the New York Knicks in the summer of 2012, while the Blazers got their hands on Damian Lillard to replace Raymond Felton. If you want an idea of just how much the Blazers organization resented Felton, listen to this.
A lot of point guards that Portland has had recently do not have. It's that kind of range.
Yeah, and he's not fat.
Which was an obvious reference to how Felton showed up out of shape the year prior. And here's a few clips of what the fans thought of Raymond Felton following the conclusion of his one season there.
I'm not a big Ray Felton fan.
He's just really not, as good as everybody thought he was going to be when he came to us.
I think what they need to do is take him down to the D-League for a little while.
Get rid of him. Get him on a treadmill and then get rid of him.
Well, it turned out that Raymond Felton had a message for them too. He straight up said that he'll drop 50 on them the next time he returns to Portland as a member of the Knicks. Fast forward to March 14th, 2013, the supposed day he promised he'll drop 50, Felton only had one request, and I quote, "Certain people there I don't want to see and better not come near me."
Guard 6'1" from North Carolina, number 2.
And as far as his trash-talking guarantee went, he was 39 points shy, dropping only 11, while Portland's then new point guard Damian Lillard put up 26 points, as the Blazers walked away with an easy 105-90 victory. You would think that the animosity that Portland fans have towards Felton would die down over time, but that's far from the case. And they must have loved seeing Dame do this to him back when they faced off in the playoffs in 2019.
Felton on him with crossover, step back, three-pointer is up, and it is good!
So it's clear that they have never forgotten about Raymond Felton's toxic, albeit short, tenure with them. Just because Goran Dragic and Sasha Vujacic happen to be from the same country, Slovenia, doesn't mean that there isn't some bad blood between them. When asked whether or not they were friends, Goran simply said no, and it looked like he had an idea of where this rivalry might have stemmed from. Goran explained that the two had practiced together with the Slovenian national team for about 2 weeks the year prior, before Sasha was cut, which he believes stuck with Sasha all this time leading up to the 2010 Western Conference Finals between the Phoenix Suns and LA Lakers that we're gonna get to in a second. Dragic said he played himself off the team, I didn't take his position. Here he is going into more detail. Quote, "We're coming from the same country and he wants to demonstrate that he's better than me, and I want to show that I'm better than him. So that's just the rivalry. I know that he wants to guard me and I want to play against him. It's just a huge rivalry between me and Sasha, and that's all." He went on to say, "We have something between us going, rivalry or something. Every game he pressures me so hard and I try to penetrate. I would say it is personal. I don't know why, but maybe because last year we were together on the national team and they didn't pick him to be on the 12-player roster. I don't care if it's personal, I just know I want to win the game against LA. If he's going to play like that, I just have to adjust." His little brother Zoran Dragic also briefly touched on this feud. Quote, "It was like a little bit tense, I think. They're not good friends. They don't like each other and this happens all the time. I mean, at least Goran was able to say Sasha's name. Sasha wouldn't even acknowledge Goran, calling him the kid on the other team. Also saying that he never even heard of Dragic back home, which we all know is obviously a lie. During the 2010 Western Conference Finals, they went at each other. Vujacic made an effort to really annoy Dragic, leading to some heated exchanges. In Game 5, Vujacic got up in the face of Dragic, but Dragic wasn't just gonna take that, as they needed to be immediately separated. But that's nothing compared to what happened in Game 6. After Dragic drilled a step-back jumper over Sasha, Sasha deliberately drilled a shot to Goran's chin.
Like all Dragic in a collision with Vujacic, and a technical foul called on Vujacic. And these guys do not like each other.
After the game, Sasha provided us with an explanation of why he decided to do that.
I was hearing something in our language and it wasn't very nice, it was involving not me, but, family. And when that comes in play, it's very, very stupid, and you can't expect that from a basketball player like that.
An unlikely beef that I don't think will ever be resolved.
Them two guys are terrific players. Y'all can't hate each other. That's the point guard and shooting guard. I know.
I mentioned before how Rajon Rondo's childhood idol was Isaiah Thomas, and ironically, it looks like one of his biggest enemies shares the same name. When the Boston Celtics unexpectedly pulled the rug out from under Isaiah Thomas by trading him to the Cleveland Cavaliers in the summer of 2017, they thought the least they could do was provide a tribute video for him the very next time he returns to Boston, and that was scheduled to take place on January 3rd, 2018. But ultimately, they didn't do it on that night because Thomas said that he wanted to make sure his family was there. So they were thinking about maybe squeezing it in on Paul Pierce's jersey retirement night, which was to take place on February 11th. They thought that honoring Isaiah Thomas the same night they were to honor Paul Pierce would make that night even more special, but they couldn't have been more wrong. Like I said, the Celtics thought that a tribute video was the least they could do for Thomas after trading him, but apparently Rajon Rondo actually thought that that would be doing too much for him and had no problem letting everybody know his thoughts on it. Here's what he said when his Pelicans were in town visiting Boston around that time. Quote, "What has he done?" Then, when told that Thomas led the Celtics to the conference finals the year prior, he said, "Oh, that's what we celebrate around here?" Rondo continued by saying, "This is the Boston Celtics, you don't hang conference titles." Hell, even Paul Pierce himself had a problem with this, and some would say rightfully so.
Isaiah will be back in Boston again. Next year, the year after, he's gonna have a long career there. But this one day, it should belong to Paul Pierce.
Absolutely.
Chauncey?
100%. I agree with him 100%.
But then, in a surprising twist, just 3 days before Paul Pierce's night, Isaiah Thomas got traded to the LA Lakers at the deadline. So they didn't even have to deal with the whole tribute video thing after all, because his new team, the Lakers, weren't scheduled to play in Boston again until the next season. So there you go, just like that, no more drama when Rondo shows up to support Pierce on his special night, because IT won't be making a stop in Boston Boston anytime soon. Well, yeah, that issue might have gotten taken care of, but Rondo still had somewhat of a personal vendetta against Thomas. Just 1 month after Rondo's explosive comments, and only a week after Isaiah got traded to the Lakers, they came face to face, and as expected, it got chippy. They got into it multiple times, all in the first quarter alone, leading to both of them getting ejected.
I'm telling you, this is personal here.
I think it goes back to that ceremony and the comments that Rajon made about, don't they only honor guys when they put banners up around here?
During a post-game interview, Isaiah shared with us what Rondo said to him on the court. He kept bringing the tribute up, and also said this when asked what else could be causing Rondo to act like this.
Isaiah, did you guys have any previous history before this whole video thing?
I mean, my team beat his team in the playoffs last year. Maybe that is what's wrong. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, he is technically right, referring to that 2017 first-round series between the Chicago Bulls and Boston Celtics. But if you recall, Chicago jumped out to a 2-0 lead with Rondo leading the way. That is until he went down with an injury. That's what pretty much opened the door for the Celtics to win 4 straight. So I wouldn't really consider that to be the reason Rondo has beef with Isaiah. At the end of the day, it all comes down to IT not winning a championship with the Celtics, while Rondo was able to help them win a title back in 2008. That's pretty much where the jealousy, or whatever you want to call it, stems from, not thinking that Isaiah was deserving of a tribute. In Rondo's opinion, he didn't do quite enough to earn it.